Hello, this is Dave from net4truthusa.com. It is April 2nd, 2017. Welcome to another Coffee with Dave. This is number 62. And we have a whole bunch of things to cover, which I'm not going to cover in this video. It's going to be the next video when I have hours to ponder over all my notes. You know, Wawa coffee is the shit, man. But today I want to talk about two topics. Topic number one, I think, should be the so-called war on drugs. There has been a war on drugs ever since I can remember, and I am up there in years, over 65 years old. And the more it seems that we have a war on drugs, the bigger the problem becomes. Obviously, one of two things is true. There is no war on drugs in the sense that we use the word war, or it's a smokescreen, or people don't know what the word war means. The drug epidemic in this country has gotten out of hand. And you have some people who are advocating the legalization of this crap, and that, they say, will eliminate organized crime and the foreign influence. I don't know what they're smoking, but this shit comes from Colombia, from South America, from the Middle East, and there's no way by legalizing drugs that you are going to get these people out of there, because you cannot grow this shit in the Adirondacks. Okay? So let's blow that propaganda bubble right out of the water right now. Second of all, the people who are running drugs are the people who say they have a war on drugs. The CIA primarily is and was involved in drug smuggling ever since Vietnam and before then. It is their agenda, their prerogative, their mission to make sure that the drug traffic continues. And that's why building a wall between the United States and Mexico is so out of their agenda that they will do anything to stop it. Here is how I would have a war on drugs. Number one, any drug smuggling operation, whether it be here in the United States or overseas or in adjacent countries such as Mexico, Colombia, Peru, all those places. When a organization that is charged with determining where these drugs are coming from provides evidence that a particular cartel, factory, farm, whatever, is engaged in drug trafficking in the United States. That entity, whatever it may be an individual, a group of individuals, a farm down in Colombia somewhere, will be summarily destroyed. And that includes sending F-16s with napalm and burning down poppy fields if we have to. The minute you do that, of course, there's going to be an uprising. But if you do this to 5 or 6 or 10 of these low-life scumbags, eventually they will get the message. The cost of doing business is just too high for them to engage in it. Okay? Number two, in the United States, in these borders, when you are caught trafficking drugs, and I'm not talking about selling a joint on the street, I'm talking about people who make thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on selling drugs to people in the United States, to children, to young adults, and to the consumers. When you are caught red-handed with the goods in a police or FBI or DEA raid, you are then on the spot instantly declared a non-uniformed enemy combatant. That means you have no civil rights under the Constitution of the United States and no rights under the Geneva Convention. Basically, with that non-status, you are subject to whatever we feel like doing to you, including shooting you on the spot and leaving you there dead. Now, you can't tell me that drug dealing is a victimless crime. How many people, just this year alone, in this one city alone, Camden, New Jersey, died of drug overdoses? Died from using drugs, got hepatitis C, got all of these terrible diseases, and committed crimes in order to get the money to buy these drugs. Drug dealing is not a victimless crime. What they should do for the medium level or low level drug dealers, people who are standing on the street selling bags of shit to people, is distribute the guilt. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you have 10,000 deaths across the United States in 1 month due to drug overdoses and drug-related crime, you take those deaths and you spread them out and you say, what is the maximum penalty for this crime? And you add them all up and you divide it by the number of people who are caught doing drugs. You throw them in prison and you make their families pay the cost. We, the taxpayers, are done paying to keep criminals alive in jail for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and then they get out and do the same thing. There is a solution to the problem, but the politicians don't have the balls, the como se llamas, the nardacious efficacy to solve the problem, to do what it would take to solve the problem. And of course, you're going to have your drug cartels trying to assassinate politicians, which is fine with me because half these sons of bitches ain't worth a lit fart in a wool mitten anyway. They sit up in there and they do nothing. You know, case in point, Hillary Clinton wrote 600,000 emails, had nothing to do with running the government. It had everything to do with the Clinton Foundation. Okay, so solution for the drug problem: drug dealers are non-uniformed enemy combatants. They do not have any civil rights according to the Constitution, and they do not have any rights according to the Geneva Convention. You do with them as you please. That's why I couldn't be a cop, because half these sons of bitches would never make it to the police station. Issue number 2. Drunk driving. Driving under the influence of alcohol, drugs, whatever. First offense, drunk driving, should revoke your driver's license permanently, forever. Because if you get behind the wheel of a car, obviously you got that car to where it was, in that bar or wherever you're getting shit-faced at, and decided that you were going to come home in that car. So you get in that car shit-faced drunk, and God forbid you kill somebody, but even if you don't, you are a sociopath by definition, because you don't care about yourself and you don't care about anybody else either. Because you are going to get behind the wheel of that car, shit-faced drunk, and move that 2-ton missile down the road at 60 miles an hour without any regard for your life or anyone else's. So, by definition, you are a sociopath. You should be committed to a mental institution where your brain can be analyzed. And you damn sure should not be allowed behind the wheel of a car ever again. And if you are caught, you should be incarcerated for the rest of your natural life, because sociopaths, as everybody knows, are not curable. You cannot reform a sociopath. That is my message. Now, you might say that's extreme, but what are you going to do? You're going to let a drunk driver go out on the road a second time, a third time, a fourth time until he kills somebody? Who is responsible for this person's behavior if it's not himself? And don't give me that bullshit that alcoholism is a disease. You're not born with the craving for Jack Daniels. Excuse me. This is a disease that you inflict upon yourself. You are responsible for your own actions. And if you got hooked on heroin, if you got hooked on alcohol, and even if you got hooked on cigarettes, that it's nobody's problem but your own. Nobody's problem but your own. So, Mothers Against Drunk Driving is a fine organization. I don't think they carry their message too far. I don't think they are radical enough. Drunk driving while under the influence, especially if you create an accident or, God forbid, kill someone, should revoke your driver's license and your ability to drive for your whole life. They should take your car, take your car, sell it, and take money from you, sue you, take your house, and pay the victims compensation. Same with the drug dealers. Take your house, take your car, take every fucking thing you own, and sell it to pay for the investigators, pay for all the expenses that are incurred, and to recompense the victims for their losses. This is Dave from net4truthusa.com. Thank you for watching. And if you like these videos, please support us. There's Patreon, PayPal, and GoFundMe links in the description. Thank you very much for listening.